Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Mr. Lateef Birogba. The Special Advisor, Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, Engineer Ganiu Johnson. The Permanent Secretary, Office of Infrastructure, Engineer, and is a man, Tayo Bangushe Martins. The Permanent Secretary, Office of Works, Engineer Utonu. The various directors that are present here in the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, the Executive Chairman of Public Works, Architect Benga Ketola, the Director, Press and Public Relations, Mrs. Ronke Osho, staff and members of the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure, our friends in the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Well, again, we will go through what we've achieved, is a lot of them, and I hope that we have a slide presentation that we normally do, because seeing sometimes is believing. So what you see, you really cannot dispute. So we believe that we should show it and people can actually see. So you please follow me on the slides. We will start by telling you basically what are the responsibilities of the ministry. Okay, and then the outline will be, we'll do that, we'll talk about our responsibility, we'll do the opening remarks, we'll talk about the goal of infrastructure development, and then the key strategies that we apply in doing that, and we'll talk about going forward, and apparently we'll end with a conclusion. So what exactly is the mandate of the ministry? To develop and facilitate qualitative first-class infrastructure to support the state's growing population, as well as serve as the critical development driver of the state vision of being Africa's model megacity and global economic and financial hub. In order to do that, our ministry is structured to have different offices. We have the Office of Infrastructure. You'll notice that at the beginning I said the Permanent Secretary of Office of Infrastructure and then the Office of Works. But we also have various parastatals that assist government in doing a lot of work. Our Public Works Corporation is one of them, as I'm sure everybody in Lagos State knows that agency. Then there's also the Lagos State Infrastructure Maintenance and Regulatory Agency, LASIMRA. So that's the agency that deals with telecom infrastructure. Because as you know, we must use telephone, but in doing that, we also need to interact with the roads. So that's the agency that manages that interaction. And then we have the Office of Facility Management and Maintenance. That is the agency of government that assists with setting the templates and enhancing the maintenance culture of our state, which we take very, very seriously. So in terms of ministerial responsibilities, our job is to plan, design, and implement roads and bridge infrastructure across the state. Of course, we rehabilitate and maintain roads, and then we act as consultant to all ministries, departments, and agencies of government on public infrastructure, such as architectural design, structural designs, quantity surveying, mechanical and electrical services. So what that means really is that if, for example, Ministry of Health wants to build hospitals, we will assist them to do design because they are not engineers. Their job is to treat patients, but they need an hospital in order to do that. So our job will be, and that goes along for Ministry of Education and so on and so forth. Also, we do boarding of plant and equipment. We do quality control of civil engineering and building projects. And then we also do research and development. As you know, Lagos State has a burgeoning population that just keeps growing. And as such, our infrastructure portfolio needs to be enhanced. And that's the basic essential of this Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. In doing that, we create a lot of jobs, which I will talk about later, because you know it's human beings that will be engaged in doing this. So as we realize, the state government, the last EIBETI, the one before this last one that we just did, says from bricks to brains, Lagos holds the key. And then that's when we came up with the agenda to actually take Nigeria to be part of the BRICS nations. And then we talk about PAT, that is P for power, A for agriculture, T for transport, and H for housing. That transport component is not just transport or traffic management, it's about also the traffic infrastructure, which of course roads is the biggest component of that. So basically, the focus of the state is about infrastructure development across all the areas of our state. Now, what exactly do we achieve by that? We believe that when you build infrastructure, you stimulate economic activities. And like I said before, and we talk about the jobs that we've created, you will actually also reduce the transaction and trade costs. That is, you improve competitiveness of our companies when they can move their goods freely and on time. And then, of course, we create jobs, ensure poverty reduction, and improve the socio-economic well-being of the citizens. So in order to do all this, because Lagos has about 9,199, and it keeps increasing because as community develops, roads will follow them. So what do we do in order to actually do this? We front-load our projects. What that means is we plan it ahead because we have to do a lot of monitoring. And you will notice that when they were introducing the directors, my brother here was saying, you have a lot of directors. Yes, and the reason is because as we award or engage in projects, somebody needs to monitor it. So we need to make sure that the specifications are there too. So that's why we have all sorts of agencies and directorates to actually manage all these projects. So which goes to the next one where we talk about robust monitoring of projects. So we have layers of monitoring so that at least if somebody misses something, the next person will not miss it. Then we do open tendering processes. We identify projects and roads based on various parameters that I will talk about later. And then we want to make sure that our roads are also public friendly. That's why you have street lights, that's why you have walkway, so that you can separate pedestrians from actually the traffic. And then of course, because we need to spread the work across the state, that's why we engage sometimes in phasing of projects across the various jurisdictions of the state. So in terms of progress, between year 2007 and 2011, a total number of 150 roads completed. 2011 to date, completed about 161 roads, which turns to about 147.34 kilometers. As of today, and of course it will keep growing, we have ongoing road works of 211 roads. So across the state, there are 211 road works that we are doing right now. But what we've also decided to do is because it is impractical to be able to build all the roads in 1 year, we've also engaged in grading and surface dressing of some roads so that will give relief. In 2013, we did 105 of those, and then in 2014, we are doing another 17. So, while doing all these roads, in order for us to make those decisions, because remember I said it is impractical for us to engage in building all these roads at one time. So what are the things that we consider in selecting roads? We look at connectivity, the road connectivity. We look at how to improve the traffic grid law. And then we look at the volume of cars on a road, that is the road, traffic bearing capacity of that road. And then we look at the flood control and management. Because as you know, Lagos on the average is 2 meters below sea level. And as such, when we build roads, we're not building roads just to carry people and cars. We also do it to actually move water. So as such, in selecting roads, we must know where we are taking the water to. During this year, between January 2013 and today, April 2014, through this work directly, direct job that we've created is 92,339. 92,339 directly. Of course, there will be some indirect. For example, when we build roads, it is not us that will relocate the street, the PACN poles, for example. It's PACN that will do that because they have to de-energize, move it, and energize back. We can't do that. So we actually pay PACN to do that job, and they will engage people. So we don't have the correct number of that. So this 92,339 is the direct, but there are enormous amount of indirect that is also involved. And also, one of the things that we've been able to do successfully is to engage our stakeholders, that is citizens, on proper uses of public properties and utilities. Because it doesn't make sense to build these roads and somebody goes there just to go and cut it because they want to achieve a certain aim and therefore destroy another infrastructure. So the next one I will talk about is the statistics of what is done. And the table is there, you can see it, and I'm sure it's in the booklet that you have. So we have it per local government, the number of roads that we've done between 2007 and 2011, to show that there is not a single local government that we have not touched. Not a single local government or LCDA in Lagos State that we've not touched. Like I said, the variances depend on various things. For example, if you look at Alimosho, the roads are long. So Lasuiba, for example, is 18 kilometers. You cannot do a road, do 2 kilometers and say, well, because you are doing 2 kilometers here, let's go to Shomolu. It doesn't work like that. You must complete a road so that the people there can actually have relief. So you can see the statistics there. It's from Agege all the way to Ajeromi, Felodun, to Alimosho, Amuwo, Dofin, all down to Surulere. So you can see the statistics, the kilometers, and as I said, is also in the booklet that you have. And then you can, the next slide again talks about between 2011 to date. So Agege, for example, 9 roads, 4.7 kilometers. Ajeromi, Felodun, 15, 6.87. Alimosho, 24, 32.22. Badagry, and so on and so forth. And therefore, it is a myth for anybody to suggest that the state government is elitist in road construction. It's a myth, because this data does just not support that, that construction. So the truth of the matter is that this project has spread around, and then the population also determines how we are able to balance these things. So you can see the statistics right there, all the way to Ikorodu, Koshofe 13, Ikorodu another 7. That doesn't include the Ikorodu road, mile 12 to Ikorodu road that we are doing, that everybody can see. Oshodi Solo, Shomolu, and so on and so forth. So the statistics are there, and I'm sure everybody have it on their booklet and they can take a look at it. So I think the best thing for me is to actually jump to show you some of the roads and then see the pictures, because it's important for us to actually see the various challenges that we face in building roads. Because most often, people send text, citizens, journalists, and say, for example, this road is taking some time. So I think it's important to see how we actually build roads, because it's possible that you just pass through a road, but you don't actually understand how it is possible. So for example, what you are seeing is the Jepu Sherry. That's the bridge that we are building there. I think you should go to the slide before. So you can see the way it was. Now, you can see that there was water there. So therefore, in order for us to be able to sustain that infrastructure, there will be piles. So on that road, on that bridge alone, there are about 1,022 piles. Now those piles, so when people say they don't see what is going on, well, you probably will not see the piles because they are on the ground, they are inside the ground. And some of them 20 meters, 33 meters deep. So if you imagine, this room I think is about 4 meters. So you can imagine 22 meters or 33 meters down. So, and then somebody has to actually measure that. So those are the pictures that you can see before we started work in those areas. And then you can now see what we are doing now. I think you should just keep going and showing the bridge. So the bridge is about almost 90% completed now, Isheri Oshun. And then the road itself is 7 kilometers. That is almost also, it has also started. The essence is to link you from Jakonde all the way to Ojigbo. It's a 7-kilometer route. Now, in terms of challenges, we have issues, of course, with relocation. And like I said, some of these relocations, we must depend on other agencies of government, like federal government, for example. So PACN, for example, will relocate the electric poles. On this particular road, NNPC pipeline will be located by NNPC. So we must rely on these agencies to move this, because we cannot destroy one infrastructure because we are building another one. The next one here, I think, is at the Sajibulu Road. How people know where that is? That's to link you to the airport from Oshodi. So basically, it's to cut the road. That's almost also completed now. It's about the length of road itself is about 860 meters. The bridge is about 280 meters. It's almost completed now. Now, it's important. You can see the road by the time we started. So I think that's how to really appreciate the work that is done. You can see the state of the road and what we even need to do in order to start the work. So it takes time for us sometimes because walls might have to move, we have to do some digging, we have to do some clearing, and so on and so forth. So I think what you have seen is the bridge in progress. So you can see the drains, you can see the bridge. So that's the bridge. And these are not things that we have to rush. One of the things that we also do is we take students from our universities, LASU and the rest, to some of these places, because if you see it, you will probably never forget again. So it's better than just sitting in a classroom and learning how to build a bridge. But when you actually see work in progress, you are able to see. Another one here is Egbeliasu, that we did in phases. And phase 1, of course, is completed. And then you can see the pictures before and after. And the one that Honorary Commissioner for Information mentioned, the Meron Road. So the Meron Road, you can actually see the pictures before. Now, we also did that in phases 1 and 2. Phase 1 is almost completed. Phases 2 have started. Phase 1 is about 1.68 kilometers, and phase 2 is about 2.83 kilometers. So and they are all the same width. Remember, they are just 2 lanes before. Now we are turning them into 4 lanes. So what that means is you are expanding the road from 7.3 to about 14.6. So which means that certain things need to move. And in order to move certain things, you must talk to people. You can't just go there because you are building a road and you are just so. Those are the things that we need to do in order to make sure. And you can see the state of the road before and then the state of the road after. Another one is Yaya Abaton College Road that we've also turned into dual carriageway. The first one, so the total length of the road is about 2.9 kilometers. 2.9 kilometers from Excellence Hotel roundabout all the way to Iju-Shaga, that Iju-Shaga road. So that's about 2.9 kilometers, and as you can see, they are laying asphalt is almost completed. What we are doing now is that roundabout, the Excellence, to link the drains to Ijayi. And you can see that, like I said, it's important that we are able to move water appropriately. If not, the lifespan of the road will be shortened. So then, of course, Glover Road again. Glover, which is 2.18 kilometers. That one we also have a bicycle lane. We are able to get enough sidewalk there so that at least after the walkway, we can actually build a bicycle lane for people to ride their bicycle. That's a 2.18 kilometers. As you can see, it's almost also completed. So we just decided to show you some, because again, you will have the full details in the pamphlet that you have of all the roads that we are currently doing. Another one that we decided to show is Obafemi Awolowo Road in Ikorodu. The total length of the road is 3.8 kilometers, and we are also dualizing it, but that's the phases that we've awarded. There's another phase which is 2.1 that takes us to Otano, and the Ewure Junction. So that's another 2.1 kilometers of road that links the old place, and that if you can go there today, you will be able to see that by the time we take it to Itamaga, the whole atmosphere is totally changed given the one that we've done today. So you can see, I think it's important to actually visualize the state of the way it was before and some of the things that we actually have to do in order to actually complete. The next one, Maidon Agility Network of Roads. Maidon Agility is behind Mile 12, if you are familiar with that area. It's a total network of roads, and I will show you some of the challenges, which will give you an example of some of the things that we go through in order to actually build roads in Lagos. Again, as you can see, I think before our intervention, when it rains, people actually have to use canoes. But now we've built a part of it as a bridge, and then we've built about 8 network of roads around the bridge to make life. And I think it's important to see that picture. You are too fast. You need to go back and show that picture, exactly that one. Now, if you look at the picture here, if you see this, you can see the type of soil that is in this place. So what that means is that we can't build a road with this soil. It's bad soil. So we need to take out sometimes 2 meters of sand. You know, if you take 2 meters of sand, 3 kilometers, you can imagine the volume of sand that you are dealing with. Now, one of the challenges we have is even getting that sand. So it's not that it's straightforward in order for us to even get the sand. And I think the example of your boy Paja Road is an example where we needed about 100 tippers of sand a day at that time, and we could only get 60 in that vicinity. So we have to get 40 from Ogun State. But you know there's a tipper association, or the some association, and the fight, you know, it turned into a fight. They didn't want, but they cannot supply our needs. And again, we don't want to be bringing from far distances because it leads to congestion on our roads. So that takes another 3 weeks to actually settle the quarrel. So those are the challenges that we actually faces in building roads. And so again, as you know, we also do maintenance of roadworks. Our public work does a lot of that. And the next slide also shows you the data of what public works has done in terms of maintenance in Agege 17, Ajeromi Ifeanyi, and then it says completed and ongoing. So ongoing now in Agege is 3, Ajeromi Ifeanyi 7, 57 was completed in Alimosho, ongoing is 22, and so on and so forth. And then the total comes to about 850 road works that we are maintaining to make sure that they don't break down, that we are rebuilding to make life easy for our transportation needs. And then in order to do that, the state government also built 2 new asphalt plants. As you know, we have one in the Ikeja here. The one in the Mota is completed and commissioned. I think we have the picture there. And then the Badagry one is about to be completed. As a matter of fact, the one in the Mota was commissioned 25th. We produced the first batch in 25th, 2013, or 25th December 2013. So that's the commissioning right there. That's His Excellency. That's the man in yellow. And then the KBAC, and I think somewhere there, I was there somewhere. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are building another one in Badagry. The essence is to make sure that we reduce transporting asphalt on our road from Ikeja all the way to Ikorodu. So, and I'm sure you understand what that means. So it reduces the traffic congestion even on the road. So those are some of the challenges that we face, and therefore, Imota can serve Ekpe, Ikorodu, and all the areas in that community, and then Badagry can serve Badagry axis of Lagos State. Well, again, in terms of paving stone production, public work is also producing paving stones now. Apart from asphalt, you know, we also build some road with paving stones. From June 2013 to date, they have produced 1,152,221 paving stones. That comes to 23,054 square meters. And then from January 2014 to date, another 284,500. So total is about 1.4 million. 1,432,221 paving stones that has been produced. And what that means also is creation of jobs, because it's human beings that will actually produce this thing. So an enormous amount of jobs have also been completed. So we've shown you the picture of the commissioning. Like I said, what you see is what you get. Now, in terms of our challenges, well, I think it's important to say that in order to build some of our roads, we also, in some cases, use geotextile materials, Because again, like we said, if the water table is high, really you must protect that road. Again, of course, we need water, but we must also protect our road. So in Lagos, we are fighting against nature. Like I said, we are 2 meters below sea level. And so when people compare Lagos roads to, for example, another state, so for example, like River State or Enugu State, the truth is Enugu State is about 4 meters above sea level. So the geography is different. We are in the same country, but we are not in the same plane. So the way to protect our road here requires more engineering work, because we are fighting with water. We are below water level. And therefore, we have to do some of this. Now, the next slide shows you again the bite soils that we are removing. And I will show you one interesting picture that actually did measure. So imagine this, again, Lagos Badagry, for example, requiring 1 million cubic meter of sand. Now, remember, that tipper can only take 5 cubic meters of sand, maximum, a tipper. So if you divide that, that's about 200,000 tippers that you need. So we should conceptualize this thing and think about it. So how do you move 200,000 tippers of sand without causing congestion on your road? So the challenge is not just building a road. How do we even do the logistics? So when people say it's taking time to finish, well, it takes time to move sand. It takes time to get the sand in the first instance. And that is the reality that we have to deal with. So if you look at this picture, for example, you can see that gentleman. You can see that gentleman having a tape rule. That is the height of bad soil that we have to remove on this road. You can see it. So we have to take that and replace that with sharp sand. Compress it. So getting the sand, pouring it in there, well, again, that sharp sand costs money, costs time, and we are also, like I said, careful to make sure that we don't move too many on a day, so that we don't, again, destroy traffic. So that's why people move some of them at night, to make sure that at least we can do work on the road. So you can see the height of the dirt that has to be removed. And this can go for 3, 4, 5 kilometers, depending on the location. So again, like I said, the next slide shows you, I think that's my durability again. We've spoken about that. Now, on Alaba Cemetery, as an example, that's a place where, interestingly, I'm not sure you can see the picture, but when we were digging, we actually removed 2 cars buried on the road. So that tells you the depth that we have to go reduce. And then the next one there that I wanted to show you is a gas pipeline in the middle of a road. That is it. Okay? Now, in order to build this road, we must relocate this gas line, because again, we don't want to cause a disaster. Now, this pipeline was built by NNPC. We don't have the as-built drawing. We don't know the depth. We don't know anything about it, but we know it's there. So we must relate with NNPC to make sure that we relocate this. And you can see what we are doing here. By the time it's relocated, it's cased. So remember, in doing this, we've not spent a kobo on the road itself. So, and of course, this adds to the cost of building a road, because we are removing this in order to build our road. And therefore, by the time we build it, we case it, so that accident will not happen. So we are doing the job that NNPC should have done. And therefore, again, like I said, we've not even poured a single asphalt. And therefore, that adds to the cost of the road itself. Now, the next slide also shows you another challenges that I hope you can see it well. But you can see where the drains is right now. You can see the height. And then you can see where the whip hole is. The whip hole is where water will pass. So which means this road is actually going to be filled up. Filled up, you can see the height all the way to this place. That's my durability, right there behind my 12, like I said. And that's repetitive of what we see across the state. So you can see the challenges that we face. I think the next slide also shows you some of the challenges in building some of this. I think this is somewhere in Ekwe. And you can see the bad soil that we have to remove in order to actually, and now that doesn't talk about relocation again that I will mention. So for example, the next one that you will see, is actually the fact that we have to build 2 sets of drains, underground and above ground. Because we notice that the top one, you can see the pipe that we are building. So it's enclosed. We are actually, so that we can take the storm water that we realize will be a lot in that community. And therefore, we move that water through this pipe, discharge it to wherever we want to take it to. Now, this adds to the cost of the road. Then we will now build drain on top of it, so that it's 2 levels of drains. So when a friend of mine in this room, my journalist friend, asked me about Ejigo, that's what I said. I said, this is a challenge. That whenever he drives on that road, he should come down and see the height. The height of the drain there is about 3 meters. So that's almost, this is 4 meters or 3 point something. So that's the height of the drain. So that's the challenge, because again, like I said, we must move water. So again, the various challenges that we have. So most people have talked about delays on delivery date. The word abandonment has also been used in various cases, but truly it's not, no road project embarked upon by this government will be abandoned. Like I said, there will be challenges that we face. There will be things underground that we sometimes come across, that we see, even with the best of soil tests. But we will resolve those challenges. I just wanted to show you some of those challenges. So some of the word abandoned is actually because we face projects. Because again, the resources is not enough to actually do all the roads at one time. And then of course, some of the challenges we have, which we mentioned before, is litigations. So we are in court in some cases, and the court will just say we should stop, and we must stop. In building pedestrian bridges, we've been in courts. In building roads, because we have to move people's fences. So that's for roads. I think we should now go to jetties. In terms of jetties, we spoke about Pakodo, Osborne, and Badore, but we are also building Ibeshe, because we believe that Lagos, with 22% of our land mass being water, we must improve on transportation, water transportation. And I think the sister agencies will talk about that at their own press briefing. But just to say that we are involved in building the jetties, which is a terminal, like an airport. What an airport is to air transportation is what a jetty is to water transportation. And as you see, we build them that they are big, they can take cars, so that people can actually drive their park and take a ferry. Or in this case, they can actually go take their cars on the water and then move on. So if you go to the next slide, that's where you can drive in the next one. So this is where you can actually drive in with a pontoon, and then they can carry you and your car, if that's your choice. But again, you can also park if you want your car to stay behind. So people have the choice, just like any other jurisdictions around the world. Then in terms of pedestrian bridges, as you know, we've done the Ilasa Maja one, we've done Igbobi, and then we are doing a whole lot. Local bus stop, Ido, cement bus stop, Ijayi, Ilepo, and so many others that we've even awarded recently. We've awarded a new 3 to Julius Baja, that one in the Baga cement bus stop on Apapa Oshodi. Pedestrian bridge by tram, if you know where the church is, to move people so that they don't have to run across the road. And then Oloko Meji pedestrian bridge at Oworo, by Oworo Ship. So we've also awarded that, and work will start very quickly on that. So we do this to prevent people from crossing our road and endangering their lives. And we have pictures of some of the examples of the ones that have been completed, and some that are actually ongoing that you can actually see. For example, at Muritala Mohammed Way, some of them that are ongoing that you can see and verify as it's going on. I think those are the pictures that we have at various locations. So I will now go and talk about the Office of Works. Everything that I've said before is actually the Office of Infrastructure. Now we'll talk about the Office of Works. Like we said, Office of Works focuses on buildings and as consultant to various agencies of government on construction, research, and so on, quantity surveying, and so on and so forth. So the first project that we are doing that everybody knows is the second secretariat that is across the road. That's the impression. Ultimately, that's what we are building. 5-story buildings on 2 sides, and then the middle one is 8 floors with your cap as the rooftop. It's going to be aesthetically very beautiful by the time we finish. Well, another challenge, one of the challenges we face there is you will notice that there is the PACN cable, so that prevented us from starting the 3rd one. So we have to wait, but it's located now, but that took some time. Again, we cannot continue to build, but that we've surmounted all the challenges, and then the building is going on and is progressing. So I'm sure people see that every day and coming to allow us so. But Lagosians should actually also notice that. Well, another thing that we are doing really, building, is the multi-level car park in Nonikon. The essence is to make sure that as we continue building roads in Lagos, people don't park on the roads and turn a 2-lane road into 1 lane by parking on it. But in order to enforce that, we are also building a multi-level parking facility. So this is the design. This is how it will be. It's 7 floors of parking. This is 6 floors of parking. The 7th floor is for various activities. So at least people can park, and then when people are not parking, the building is not docile. So basically that is what work has started. Work has started. Piling was done. As you can see, that's the site. They've finished all the piling, and then work has started right now. And then the various other building works that we are doing now is at Lagos State University. As I'm sure everybody is aware, we are trying to build an institution that we can all be proud of. So some of the facilities that we've awarded there: Central Library, the Senate Building, Faculty of Management Sciences, the School of Transportation, which is completed, the Student Union Arcade, the 3-in-1 lecture theater, which is a renovation, and we have pictures to show the various stages of where they are. It is important to show how massive these infrastructures are. The Central Library is 26,248 square meters. That's 24,248 square meters. I think this room will be about 60 square meters, 55 to 60 square meters, this room. So you imagine 26,000 square meters. So that tells you how big. So it's on 6 floors. And then work is actually, it's on 3 floors, It's the Senate building that is on 6th floor. So the Senate building, again, is the same infrastructure that is ongoing there. Student Arcade, that is where the Student Union will have their offices, they have various stops there so that they can actually have a better environment than what they have now. That is almost completed. I think that's the picture that you can see. It requires just painting. And then we have the Law Lecture Theater, where students of law can actually receive their lecture in a more serene environment. Again, it's almost, as you can see, it's roofed. It's painting will start very soon so that we can hand over that project to the university for their use. Again, the Senate building is another gigantic building, 14,504 square meters. As you know, the Senate building defines a university. That's where the governing council, all the Senate professors to decide the fate of the institution and how to progress it. And that's why we are building that infrastructure, again, 6 floors. And then we have a Senate auditorium that sounds, it's a very fantastic building that everybody, or every of us will be very proud of. And then we show you also the 3-in-1 lecture theater for the students. And then we also showed you School of Transportation. School of Transportation was the initiative of LASU in cooperation with the Lagos State government to build a school that deals with transportation management problems. As you know, Lagos, as a mega city, will have transportation issues, just like any other mega city. Tokyo, for example, New York City, and the rest. And as such, we thought that a school of transportation, so it's the only institution that has a school of transportation. There can be a unit, in most universities there's a department of geography, and then they will now have a unit of transportation under geography. But this is actually a faculty of transportation that talks about the various problems that can emanate from a city like Lagos. Then, of course, Oyigbo Market, again, almost completed. And then, of course, the new police area command that we are building. As you know, the area command in Lagos was increased from 5 to 9 to cope with the surging population. So the state government volunteered to build this new area command. So area J, Elemoro in Bejuleki, area K, Marugbo in Badagry, area L in Lashe, Amu Wardorf in area M, Idimu, and area N in Ijede in the Korodu area of Lagos State. So consequently, because of that expansion, like I said, we decided to build this new infrastructure, and we showed you the stage where they are now. They are massive buildings that we believe befits a good police area command, where they have all the facilities where people can actually work and be very comfortable as police officers. So you can see there are very massive buildings that we are building there, that will have even quarters for people to actually rest after a day's work. So we show the various ones that we are building, and some of them that we've actually also completed, and then some of the police stations that we also build. Like I said, when we are building roads, we relocate even police stations. So this one, for example, is one of them that we just built, but we now build something better than we meet. So we enhance, so we did that, for example, in Badi Dokale, somewhere in Mushi, and this is another one at Orile, Amukoko axis of around when you are on Lagos Badagry Expressway. This is another one that we just built and handed over to the police to actually assist them in doing their job. This is Alegogon road building project, the level 4 luxury apartment that I'm talking physical planning we'll talk about, but we act as their consultant, so I won't talk much about it in terms of, because I'm sure Ministry of Physical Planning at their time will speak about that. And then relief camp in Igodo. The faces you can see, the stage where it is, the relief camp is to prepare for emergency when it happens. We don't pray for it, but it's better to prepare for it. So we build one so that if there are emergencies across the state, that's a camp that we can take people to, well built, laid out, and well furnished, that we actually work with Ministry of Special Duties to actually build. And then, of course, a fire station at Abeson Housing Estate that we actually also built, so that to assist that community with fighting fires. Again, magistrate courts. So you can see that the Office of Works actually solve problems across the state, so with fire services, courts, schools, and so on and so forth. So the Ogba court is almost completed. It's a magistrate court in Ogba. It's almost completed. We have also awarded the road leading to the court, and then you can see the inside, very beautiful. I'm sure the magistrates will like those courts, they would like to work there. Then, of course, again, the Obas palaces that we are building in Ilara, in Ikorodu. You can see them, very pretty, very nice, completed really. And then we have the pictures of various palaces that we are doing. And then we talk again about the maintenance activity. Like we said, one of the core things that we are trying to do is to enhance our maintenance capability, because we cannot just keep building and building and building. We must at the same time maintain what we are building. And we show you pictures of some of the maintenances of various facilities across the state. We just chose some. And then I will also talk about some of the research work that we are doing in the ministry. The research unit of the ministry worked on 3 projects during this year. One of them is the interlocking brick making machine that we think that we can build locally. The hot air rotary fish drying plant. The essence is, as we also do roads, we interfaces with communities. And we see that in some of our riverine areas, some of the things that they actually need is to actually fish their fry, because a lot of it can go to waste if they don't sell immediately. Therefore, our research unit started working on that. And then the Lagos Lagoon Weed and Waste Harvesting Boat As you can see on our waters, you see water hyacinth and various plants growing. And we thought we should do a research into building a boat that can actually do the harvesting of those. So we started the brick making in 2013, and then the essence was to, like I said, assist in producing interlocking bricks. And we have the design there, if you can see it. So we have the design as we've done it, and then the building. And we are fabricating this thing locally using our engineers, our artisans, and then using local material to make sure everything is fully 100% Nigerian. Then the Otia rotary fish drying plant, again, like I said, is to assist the fish farmers to get away from the traditional way of frying fishes, which with smoke and all sorts of things, so that at least it can be neater, it can be planned better, and then it can be preserved in a better way. And as you can see, that's the prototype there. And then you can see the fishes that it fried, that we are taking to various communities to assist them to make sure that their livelihood is enhanced. The third one, like I said, is the lagoon weed and waste harvesting boat. The essence is to produce a machine that will clear solid waste and weeds, like water hyacinth on Lagos waters. The essence is to actually enhance our water transportation. As we build our jetties and the rest, our waterways must also be navigable. And to prevent the growth of weeds and the rest, that's why the ministry decided to engage in that. And that, as you can see, the designs are also there. So I'll quickly then move to Office of Facility Management. Well, again, it was set up to specifically assist us in setting templates for our maintaining our infrastructure. As our asset grows, as the portfolio increases, we need to also have a plan to maintain them, and then maintain them in an orderly way so that each agency of government across the state works on the same template. A building is a building. Uses might be different, and then it also assists us in how to design our buildings better. So basically, this is probably one of the biggest ways to actually also create employment. For every 100,000 naira that is spent in maintenance, you create a job. For every 100,000 naira, you create a job. So for facility management of Lagos House, for example, the people employed is 59. Mother and Child Center, Ifakojayi, both the clinical and non-clinical. The clinical is the maintenance of the machines, the equipment, the X-ray equipment, and so on and so forth. The non-clinical is cleaning, toilets, laundry, and so on and so forth. 199 employed, and so on as shown in that table. And then the total number is actually employed is actually 800 across those various. And then we show you pictures of some of these agents. The essence is, as we build this facility, they must continue to be useful for why we build them. And therefore, the only way to do that is to actually have a maintenance template. And then we also show you Tinubu Square that we've now turned around every night. I encourage you to actually go there. We are going to do a Wi-Fi there very soon. So you can actually use it on internet free of charge. You don't have to pay. So it's a good place to go in the evening. And then we show you various things in terms of maintenance of LASUCOM and LASUT. And then we talk about also the maintenance of our educational facilities, the way it was before and the way it is now. I think the document you have shows clearly a lot of it. And like we said, the essence is to keep maintaining all the assets, be it schools, be it hospitals, be it whatever it is, bridges, pedestrian, and so on and so forth, so that we can maintain these things and build a template that people coming behind us can just pick up and use very well. Now, in terms of the plans for 2014 is to go to Isolo General Hospital and Limosho General Hospital, Onikon General Hospital. I think that is actually under procurement right now. And the various things we do there is also like water treatment, electrical plumbing, making sure everything works as planned so that it's not when it breaks down that we actually also come and attend to them. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me just complete and say that mindful that time is no longer our friend, we are committed to delivering on majority of our projects. Like we said, no project will be abandoned, but we must understand that a road work is not done by quarters, it's by completion. And as such, a road work can last more than a year, for example. It doesn't mean it is slow, it's just the way it is. There are processes involved. So the ones that we've just awarded are the closing phases of some of the projects, which we hopefully we will complete within our tenure. We will ensure that we act quickly and the ability to achieve the set goals. Thank you very much for listening. Eko Lebaje. Lekki Ikoyi Bridge that we didn't mention. Well, it's a project that we've completed, we've commissioned last year, it's gone. So it's not something that I want to discuss this year. We've moved behind, and then, so that's why we didn't mention it. We just thought it's completed, it's done. We talked about it last year, so we didn't want to talk about. But you mentioned the question about did we get federal permission of federal government? First of all, we don't need permission of federal government to build a bridge in Lagos. That's the reality. We don't. Now, but like I said, we work with a lot of stakeholders when we are building bridges or building roads. It's not just federal government, even tenants on the road, homeowners, we have to talk to them because it will affect. So, if you recall during the commission, His Excellency actually thanked President Yar'Adua, may so rest in peace, that he gave up 4 buildings, 4 federal buildings. We demolished 4 buildings belonging to federal government. And that when he spoke to him, the president just said, go and remove it. These people are building bridges. So that shows that there is discussion. So, but in terms of, so if somebody's building, so if those buildings does not belong to federal government, let's say it belongs to Metalapade, for example, we will need his permission. We will compensate him, but we must remove the building. So in doing the bridge, we will have a discussion, but to build a bridge in Lagos, we don't need federal government permission. I think we should make that clear. Okay, but if federal government hold assets that it will affect them, just like any other human being or any other agency or whoever, we need to talk to them, we need to interact with them, and that's why we said that. And that we did in this case. And but that is the case. I think you also mentioned the court case, right? I think the Ministry of Justice will talk about that, but Attorney General, I think it's better that we leave a court case to the lawyers, not to the engineers. I think the second question was on that on Sunday there was a storm. Now remember when the telecom mast started life in Lagos, we said that it should be regulated because it's a structure. So, and then you cannot build it just anywhere. So just like people build houses, you cannot just build your house anywhere. So there is a master plan that says this is where this should be and the rest. Lagos State government was of the view that to build all this mass, we must know about it, and then we must even certify. But at that time, there was a court case. They went to court, and the court said, no, there is federal government. So those buildings, those masts that were built at that time, we don't have a control. So if they fall off, well, we cannot regulate it at the time. Now, but I think Alton, that is the organization of telecom mast, the Minister for Communication, Mr. Mobile Johnson, actually came to Lagos with the governor. We sat down, we discussed, and they realized their failures and realized that these are infrastructure that needs to be regulated. Nobody is saying we need the business. We must communicate. It enhances it, but you cannot do your business and endanger people's life. And I think they recognize. So going forward, we've said we look at everything that needs to be built, where should the base station, so that we don't injure ourselves. You don't just build mast anywhere near a school. If it collapses, you kill children. So that is going. But what has been done before, of course, those are the ones. So in terms of we've regulated it, we've agreed, we've actually signed a memorandum of understanding with all the telecom operators in Lagos. MTN was there, Airtel was there, Globacom, everybody. And then we all signed, and the minister was also present. So we all agree that this is the modus operandi. We cannot just build anything anyhow.